Hi everyone, my name is Joanna. I'm joined today with Michael. Welcome to SKY TING TV. Today will be a chair yoga class, so if you are sitting on a chair, you are in the perfect spot. You could also be on a couch or anything that allows you to sit. You don't need anything else. When you are ready, you can sit up nice and tall. If it feels comfortable for you to just place your hands gently on your thighs or towards your knees, you can do so. All right. And if it feels available to you to close your eyes, I invite you to do that now. So for just a moment, take your imagination into your feet, plug them into the ground, the knees traveling directly over the ankles, right? Knees kind of an extension from the area of the hips. And then you find your imagination at the base of your spine. And as you inhale, imagine growing another inch or two taller as you fill your lungs. As you exhale, keep that height, lower the shoulders. Give yourself another 3 or 4 rounds of breath, just like that, connecting your hearing to your breathing, noticing the fill of the lungs, the height in the body, the height in the spine, and the gentle release as you exhale. Another round or two. And when you're ready, you can begin to open your eyes. You're going to start by interlacing your fingers all the way to the webbing, inverting the palms out in front of you. You can even see them, maybe even getting that pinky together with the other pinky as well. And then when you're ready, keep these long arms and bring the hands all the way up and all the way overhead. All right. You're going to stay here for about 3 full breaths. And imagine as you inhale, the area from the wrist all the way down to the hips, hips all the way up to the wrists get nice and long. As you exhale, you keep the length, but maybe you drop the shoulders a little. Inhale to exhale. Another inhale. Another exhale. Release the hands. Bring the hands all the way behind the back. Interlace those hands behind the back. You can make them all the way into like a little fist with the wrists coming together, or you can keep that space away from the wrists. Lengthen the arms behind the back, and then you're going to move your hands over to the left side. So that will be a bend in your right elbow, bend in your left elbow to bring the fist over, the 2 hands over to that left side. And then from here, you can start to circle at your neck, drop your chin a little bit in towards the chest, and do a circle around the neck. And as you do this, you might find a spot that's a little juicy. And if you want to stay there, I recommend it and take another breath or 2. So it can be really nice and slow. All right, a little bit of an investigation of how you're feeling in your neck, how you're feeling in your shoulders. Do one more round just like that. All right. Come back to center when you're ready. Bring those hands away from the left side. Keep them together behind the back, stretch it back and long, and then release the hands, interlace the hands in front of you again, this time doing the opposite interlacing. So the one that feels a little weird, invert the palms, rise the arms up and overhead. Right, and again, you're going for the length here. So if you notice that that bottom rib is really sticking out, maybe you tuck it in slightly. Think that you want to go, there's like this real heaviness in the hips in the chair, but then there's this real elevation through the wrists as you invert the palms. Another breath here. Release the hands, bring them behind the back, swap the interlacing the weird way behind the back, lengthen through the arms. Bring the hands over to the right side and then turn your chin down either towards the chest or maybe ear over to that left side. You can stay there for a moment or you can start to investigate that head circle. All right, so maybe there's a spot that you find that's like, oh, that needs another minute, another little bit of breath. You can stay there. All right. Another round or 2. Remember to breathe nice and slow. Okay. And then you'll come back to center, bring the fists away from that right side, lengthen through the arms. Release the hands, place the hands on those knees, just a couple rounds of cat-cows in your seat. So tilting the tailbone back, pubic bone forward, sticking the chest out. Maybe your head goes back. Big breath in. As you exhale, pull the navel back to whatever is behind you. Do this a couple rounds, really plugging in with the feet, hands at the knees, giving yourself all that space. Big breath as you do this. If you want to add circles here around the pelvis, you can do so. Circles around the neck, you can do so. Do maybe 2 times one direction, 2 times the other direction, stirring all the ways, plugging yourself in. All right. And then when you're ready, you're going to tilt so that you're sitting right above the center of your pelvis, not deep into your tailbone, not deep into your pubic bone, but somewhere in between. You can widen your feet a little bit or keep them inner hips distance apart. Reach the arms up, inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to fold, almost like you're reaching forward the whole time. So it's a real hinge right at that hip. Maybe you'll pause halfway. And when you're ready, you can place your hands either on the ground. Maybe if you have blocks, you can do that. It could be just fingertips on the ground. If you don't want to go that low, maybe you just bring your forearms down and it's like a little check-in, how you're doing at the angle in your back. If you can, though, you can really drop your head. If you want to keep your neck a little bit longer, that's also fine, right? So that there's this beautiful fold from the hips all the way out through that shoulder. And then there's a release in the head, or release in those elbows. You can bend them, you can soften them, right? And take a moment here, right? Plugging into the feet, plugging into the hips on the chair, and then letting go through the neck. So you can stay in this fold for a couple breaths. You're going to count to 5 in your own mind. And as you inhale and then complete that full exhale, that's 1, right? Especially if you're sitting in chairs, throughout your day, right? It's a lot to keep your upper body up. It's a lot of effort. And so this is a real moment just to release, to let it go, to give a break to your low back, to let your lower body really hold you up and really let the chair do the work. All right. I love this, grabbing opposite elbow here. That's a fun thing to do if you want to. All right. And another breath or 2. You can release those hands down. Of course, you can always stay in that a little longer if that's where you need to be. And then find that feeling of a half lift. So plug the hands down, lengthen out the spine, and kind of see where your head is, where your forehead is, and place the right hand. You have actually a few options here. Right hand can go right underneath where your nose is. It's sometimes nice to widen the feet here a little bit. So option 1 is to place that right hand down underneath the face. Left hand can reach all the way up towards the sky. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 would take that right hand over to the left ankle to hold on to the left ankle with your right hand and then lift out with that left arm. All right, so either option is good. And then stay here and think that you're really reaching up through that top hand. The bottom shoulder is kind of coming in towards the middle. The top shoulder is leaning back slightly. There's a back bend. And then the top middle finger is reaching up, up, up. Maybe you turn the wrist in towards the face. Whenever you're ready, big breath in, find all that length. Exhale, you start to swim the arm forward as if you're reaching for something over the head. And then you can bring it down and you'll switch sides. So it'll be left hand to right ankle, right hand reaches all the way up to the sky, or right bottom hand changes. So left hand would be in the middle. All right. Give yourself a big breath in here. Find length from wrist to wrist. Bottom shoulder sneaks in. Top shoulder slides back a little. Top hand reaches up, and then you swim. All right. This is a kind of swimming that you might drown because it's so slow. So you can always swim faster. You can always swim slower, but do a couple rounds, right? Really give yourself a moment to find length, to find space, to really twist throughout the whole torso, kind of like you're wringing yourself out in this nice cleansing way. Maybe one more round on each side. Big breath in brings you up, like a big yawn. Brings in all that oxygen. Exhale brings you down. Beautiful. All right. And then once you're done, you can release those hands, find that half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Roll yourself all the way up when you're ready, hands back on knees. All right. You'll come to standing when you're ready. All right. And this one, Michael, you're going to show, is a down dog using the chair. Yeah, so if you want to slide the chair back or forward, You'll place the hands down on the chair and like really press into the seat. You can walk your feet back into space. You have a choice to be on your whole foot here, or if you want to be on the balls of the feet, you can, lifting up and out of the heels. Right, and so think that when you are plugging your palms down, you're really finding like all four corners of your palms. So the pointer finger knuckle, the pinky knuckle, the thumb knuckle side of the knuckle, the pinky side of the wrist, right? All plugging in. And as you plug in, you're going to move the hips, you move the back away from those palms. And you're pressing down slightly forward into the ball of the hand. The heels go down, the hips rise up. Give yourself about 3 to 5 breaths here. All right? Maybe counting your own breath, becoming responsible for that internal dialogue. Your thought, holding on to the breath. The inhale filling up in your imagination, the back of the legs getting longer, the heels going down, hips rising up. The exhale, maybe a slight pull back of the hips, pull up of the hips. Right? Find that pointer finger knuckle, find that thumb knuckle. Right? 2 more rounds. And then slowly walk the feet forward. Find that half lift sensation once your feet are underneath the hips, shoulders over wrists, big breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to find a forward fold here, bringing the forehead down to the seat. Hands can stay on the seat or they can come to the ground, right? Or they can come to blocks, right? You can always have a micro bend in the knee or a big bend in the knee, right? You can always add height to the chair, so a pillow or a block there, all right? But wherever you are, let your head or your neck release. It's no longer doing the effort. Maybe you try to put all corners of the hand down, maybe with a little bend in the knee. It'll allow for that, or a big bend in the knee. And then as you inhale, right, you imagine the back of the thighs getting taller, getting longer, pulling in 2 directions. As you exhale, the torso softens. 2 more rounds of breath, just like this. And then when you're ready, you'll gently place the hands on the chair, find a half lift. You can have a little micro bend in the knees here. Lift up through the heart, the lungs. And then as you exhale, you'll stand all the way up, come back to sitting in your chair. All right. Okay. All right. And so now coming back into your seat, just like we started in class, your hands can be anywhere that feel comfortable to you. Right, so it could be on your legs. Maybe you have a hand on the belly, hand on the heart. Right, it's all good places. And as you sit here for a moment, right, reconnect with the sound of the breath and the feel of the breath that waves through the body. With your eyes closed, if that's what you're doing, you can really imagine like traveling. All right, traveling through the nostrils, into the lungs, traveling around the legs, every cell in the body, mind, thoughts, just traveling with that air and letting it go as soon as you're ready. You'll do that between 3 and 5 times. Your hands, if they're on the body, can come back down to the thighs. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.